Get this instead of a MacBook Air and save 5 times the amount of money. Stay tuned. Alright, so the very first thing you got to understand is this is not macOS. So if you need macOS, obviously this isn't going to work for you. But if you just use the your laptop for basic documents, or sitting to the TV and actually looking at the internet and things like that, this is going to work fine. Plus it's got a lot more ports, which is another thing that you actually want to look into. Alright, well, it's not a ton more ports. It does have a few more. It's got 2 USB ports right here and a HDMI port if you want to hook it up to the TV. It also has a little lock there, a Kingston lock. On the other end, it just has a headphone jack, which is nice, and then the power charger. So not a ton more than the MacBook, but a couple more. Alright, like I said before, this is actually, let me give you the model number. It's Acer CB3431 C5EX, and I'll put that on the screen somewhere around here. But basically, this is going to be an Intel Celeron, but it's a 4-core CPU on this, and it's pretty responsive actually. It's a really nice system. It's got a 4-core CPU. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, and then basically it's only got 32 gigs of storage. But with Chrome OS, everything's stored in the cloud. You can also put some storage into the side of it on the USB as well. So everything's on the cloud, which is one of the positives of it. So if someone steals this, or if you actually want to get rid of it, you can basically buy another Chromebook, type in your username and password, and all your information comes back up. That's number one. Number two, this thing's very light. It's comparable. It's actually lighter than the MacBook Air, or it's very close to that. At least it feels lighter to when I'm holding both of them, it feels a lot lighter. So it's very light. You can actually, it's very portable, and it has a really good battery. I'm getting somewhere like 8 to 10 hours on this, and I'm obviously that's just a lot of typing and some video editing and things, not video editing but video watching, things like that. So it's got actually really good battery life. I'm going to dive into it and kind of go through it and show you why I recommend it over the MacBook Air. Obviously, for the cost, $179, you can get it on Amazon right now. All right, so really quickly, here it is on Amazon. It's $179 right here with free shipping, so you can get it for a very good price. Now these are going to be, this says renewed. A lot of times they're refurbished here, meaning that this is an older model, but the reason I recommend it, because it looks so nice. It's all aluminum. It's basically full aluminum body, and obviously for the cost, you can't beat it. I mean, new Chromebooks like this might cost twice or 3 times this much. Very quick. It's still got the 4 gigs of RAM. Again, really quickly, it's got the N3160 quad core, 4 gigs of RAM. It's got a 14-inch 1920 by 1080 screen. It's got the webcam, microphone, 2 USB ports, and an HDMI port also. Here's the system over here. Here's a couple more pictures. But anyways, go ahead and check it out on Amazon, and let's continue. And obviously you can do your own due diligence with that. But I'm going to go through some of the key details here, and we'll show you why it's actually worth it to buy one right now. Alright, before we get into showing you how this works, basically I want to show you the outside of it. This is why it looks like a MacBook Air. It's all aluminum. It's got a very solid construction, there's no doubt. It's very light, obviously. When you look at it from the the side profile like this, it's super thin. It's comparable to a MacBook Air, maybe even thinner. It's got the ports like I showed you earlier. It's got a couple of USB ports, obviously type 2, and then actually the HDMI port as well. So it does have some ports on the other side. It's got a headphone jack as well if you need that. But go ahead and take a look at how thin this thing is. Obviously, it's just really good construction for a Chromebook, and I just highly recommend it. I felt a lot of other Chromebooks, and none of them have been really that nice. This one, obviously, when you just pick it up in the hand and you hold it and things like that, it's just going to feel really solid. I mean, obviously, for the money that you're spending, $179, it's really a huge steal. The screen also is really nice. It's 1080p. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as the MacBook Air, but it's very close. And look at the side profile. So obviously, it doesn't look like you're using a cheap system. It looks like there's a lot of quality built into this. All right, so basically, I'm going to log in here using my Google username and password. So give me 1 second. All right, so basically this screen has a 1080p actually HD screen, so it's going to be 1920 by 1080. So it's a really good high quality screen, as you can see. Very good quality. Obviously it's not going to be as good as the MacBook Air, but it's going to be very close. Obviously in a screen of 14 inches, this is actually a 14-inch screen. It's going to be a little, it's a little bit bigger, I guess, than the MacBook Air even, but it's going to obviously be not as sharp, but it's very close on a small screen like this. So, all right, so everything's going to be very snappy, like I just said, and you can log into various applications in here. So let's go ahead and open up Chrome here, and Chrome should open up in 2 seconds. Look at that, that's very quick. So basically, this actually feels faster than the MacBook Air in some cases. And there's an icon over here like I just mentioned before. You're going to basically have your Google search here, but if you click this little icon that's flashing, it'll bring up all your different apps that you have. And let's do that one more time. So you click in the left hand corner over here, and then you basically click here, and then basically all your apps are here. And there's a couple little dots over here that'll actually, give you some additional apps. But everything plays very, very, obviously very quick. Now the thing that's the beauty of this too is it's going to have full Android apps. So if you go into it's going to basically have the Play Store. So if you go into the Play Store over here and I click on it, obviously Android is, all the Chromebooks now have Android apps, and they're not always formatted the correct way, but you do get all the apps that would be on an Android phone, and you can actually use them on Google Chrome now. So that's a huge advantage. I mean, you can get classic words and things like that. I mean, all these different games and stuff, and they'll all play in this Chromebook. So that's a huge advantage. I mean, obviously with the MacBook, it's a little bit different. They have some Apple, the Apple Store has some apps, but obviously the Android app ecosystem seems like it's even bigger than the Apple one when it comes to at least games on like a Macintosh computer, not the phone, but just the actual computer. So anyways, this is a really good system. I highly recommend it. Again, the screen's really good. The battery life is really good. It's a very, very simple system, and you get obviously a lot of battery out of it as well, sometimes up to 7, 8, 9 hours, and it's very easy to just fold up and take with you anywhere you want to go. So keep that in mind, that everything's tied to your account, so if you do lose your system or whatever, so someone can't log in, you can just log into Google from another computer, change your password, buy a new Chromebook, and then you're basically back on in line. One thing you can do is you can store some files on here, like with an external drive and things like that, but I don't recommend it. Everything goes up into the cloud, really. Usually use something like Google Drive or something like that. So anyways, I highly recommend this. Obviously, is it a MacBook killer? If you need macOS as far as the OS, this isn't going to help you, but otherwise I think it's a great value for what you're getting. So go ahead and check it out. But obviously it's the Acer Chromebook 14, and again, we'll kind of put up the model number and things like that to help you out. But it's only $179.99 right now. You can buy it refurbished. It's older, but Chrome OS doesn't make a difference at all, so it's still super fast. You can't even tell how old it is. So great system. On top of that, it actually looks really good. It looks just like an Apple MacBook Air, and even a Pro. So anyways, if you guys can help me out, please help out my channel, subscribe. I really need the subscribers right now to keep going. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a bunch. Bye.